You're the minority.
Yeah.
And you were fighting for your rights?
Yes. I think since the British left, they handed the power over to the government, who happened to be all Sinhalese.
It's always the British, isn't it?
It's always British.
It's always the fucking British.
It really is.
It really is. All those places I named, it was always the
British. It's one now. But I mean, England's trying. I think, the government, the parliament's been really supportive, with the Tamil plight, and like David Miliband and Hillary Clinton have been like offering their support and stuff. And I'm kind of just on here to say that this is the first sort of human catastrophe that's happened since the Obama time, and we kind of have to, pay attention to what's going on, and also to talk about why the American public hasn't been able to get the right information and, somebody explaining exactly what's going on a daily basis that's not biased, But it's really difficult because the press is banned in Sri Lanka. Or, external journalists, humanitarian agencies and officials, the NGOs and stuff, they're banned from Sri Lanka. So the media news that we've had has to go through the government, and the stories that we get has to be sort of cleared by them, and anyone who's against the government is getting assassinated, killed, jailed, whatever, kicked out. So it's really difficult to get that information, that you can share with the American public to go, this is what's going on.
And tell the American public why, if you're from this island nation, you sound like Mick Jagger.
Well, I'm just one of them. Like, that was my thing.
But that's not what they all sound like, right?
No, but, we'll never know because they keep killing them all,
Really? They could all have Cockney accents in Sri Lanka? That's interesting. I didn't know.
Well, I came as a refugee to England when I was 10 years old, and when I left there, the fighting had started in 83 and I left in 86, so it was like 3 years of it. And when I tried to get out of Sri Lanka from the north, where the Tamils live, down to the south to get a plane to England, it took me like 4 times, and every time we'd get halfway, everybody would get taken off the bus and assassinated, like the guys would get shot, or the bus would get burned, and then we'd have to start again, and yeah.
Now, the Tamils are mostly Hindu, and the Sinhalese, the government, they're mostly Buddhist.
But it's not a religious war.
Well, it may not be a religious war, but it's interesting because I think in America we think of the Buddhists especially, but also the Hindus, as much more spiritual than we are, people who would never engage themselves in atrocities and things like that. Not really the case, is it?
No, I think, there's sort of, since I was there in 83, there was a big, it's called the Black July, when the riots happened and 3,000 Tamil people got killed in a couple of days, and all the houses and shops got burned down. And during that time, you have to understand, in Sri Lanka, not a single Sinhalese person has been convicted of a crime for 60 years. And, some of the people who are doing this...
Not any crime?
No.
Not shoplifting?
Nothing. And it's crazy.
That's
because
hard to believe.
the 3,000 people got killed by the civilians. It wasn't by the army or the police. And not a single person got convicted.
But the Tamils have terrorists, and they committed atrocities also.
Of course.
Right.
But the problem didn't start with the Tigers, and it's probably not going to end with the Tigers unless, they comply with U.S. Humanitarian laws, or, whatever. I'm not really sure when I say U.S. laws, but I think it's important for President Obama to set some sort of presidency on like how you handle the situation. And governments can't reduce themselves to how terrorists fight wars, which is what Sri Lanka's done. And I think, that's a really important point to remember.
And I'm glad you came here to make it. Thank you,
you.
M.I.A. I appreciate it. M.I.A., everybody. Good luck with that. I know it's a difficult situation. Okay, folks, let's meet our panel. Okay, here they are.